Thank you for watching. This is AP. Go ahead and please subscribe to this YouTube channel right here. You know I appreciate y'all so much. Happy holidays as well. Today we talking True Story, Kevin Hart's brand new Netflix series, True Story. Now this has been promoted very heavily over the last couple weeks and months. This is Kevin Hart drifting away from his comedy side, going a little bit more serious into a dramatic kind of role. Does Kevin Hart deliver in this Netflix series right here? Is he any good? Is it bad? Should he stick to comedy? Come on now, let's talk about it. Kevin Hart plays a hugely successful comedian and actor simply known as The Kid. Now, following an absolutely crazy, kind of wild, misguided night out with his struggling older brother Carlton, played by the phenomenal Wesley Snipes in this series, Kevin Hart, The Kid, awakens in a hotel room next to a halfly nude body of a dead woman, and then he undertakes a series of increasingly reckless, a bunch of just wild decisions in order to cover up her death and to ultimately protect his own career. Kevin Hart does a phenomenal job in True Story. Round of applause, chorus of approval. Chorus of approval from me to Kevin Hart. Now, full disclosure, I've never been the biggest Kevin Hart guy, whether it be his stand-up comedy or his comedy films. I've never really, shifted, and Kevin Hart just never really appealed to me like that. So this was kind of a surprise to me. I was very interested in seeing what this project was going to look like once Wesley Snipes, I heard, was on board, and he was going to be majorly co-starring in this series right here. And so just from the top, Kevin Hart does a phenomenal job. Not only does he show his range, his acting range, that he could go from the funniest of funny in comedy. A lot of people call him one of the kings of comedy, maybe in their own top 5. Not only does Kevin Hart show that he can rock with the best of them as far as comedy, but in this series right here, he's showing that he's an exceptional dramatic actor. Like, I was going into it with a preconceived notions thinking, let me see if Kev could pull this off. But Kevin Hart does a phenomenal job in this film. His acting is phenomenal. And I really brought into him as a serious, dramatical, if that's a word, if I'm using that correctly. I really brought into him as a serious actor in this film. I actually liked him very much more in a serious role and just being very serious. Now, most recently, Kevin Hart gave an interview and he talked about True Story and the serious nature of this series right here, and him sort of kind of drifting away a little bit from, and really a lot, from his comedic, hilarious elements. Kevin Hart said in this interview, when it's all said and done, with me and my career, people are going to realize that I've checked every box. This is just to simply show I got that. This is in my bag. If I get the itch to do it, I'll create the thing to scratch it. Wesley Snipes, can't say enough about Snipes. Wesley does an amazing job in this film, absolutely phenomenal. And Wesley Snipes pretty much reminds us why at one point in time he was one of the biggest box office draws in Hollywood at one point in time, some number of years ago. Wesley Snipes absolutely kills the role of Carlton, the struggling brother in the series. I mean, you get to see Wesley Snipes at his absolute best. We've seen Wesley Snipes, play some kind of similar roles like this in the past. Very, very serious roles, and whether it be Disappearing Acts with Sanaa Lathan years ago, or whether it was Sugar Hill, Wesley Snipes plays this role to perfection. And the whole cast in this series, the ensemble of cast members in this film is amazing. Tawny Newsome as Billy, one of Kevin Hart's managers or assistants, shall I say. Then we had Laura London, who basically she portrays Kevin Hart's wife in the film. And they're going through some marital issues, some marital problems, a possible potential separation that they're going through. She plays a good job. Theo Rossi, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He plays the super fanatic Gene. William Catlett as Kevin Hart's personal bodyguard Herschel. Paul Adelstein as Kevin Hart's manager Todd. And can't forget about the legendary Billy Zane as the gangster Ari. I love the cinematography in this show. It was exclusively shot in and throughout Philadelphia, where Kevin Hart is from. So he's basically given an ode to his home, his roots, where he's from. Philadelphia looks so beautifully done and beautifully shot in this city right here. If you've never been to Philly, it definitely gives you that vibe, like you right there. In a lot of ways, this film was basically showing the parallels of some of the things that Kevin Hart was going through in his own personal life, in his own real life off screen over the last 4 or 5 years. Now, even though True Story is largely fictionalized and it's definitely not based on a true story, no pun intended, Kevin Hart's real life has definitely not lacked drama over the last 3 to 5 years. He's only 2 years removed from a car accident in which he sustained major back injuries requiring surgery and rehabilitation, and which he said has left him a changed man. And it has been almost 3 years since he stepped down as host of the Academy Awards after some of his past jokes and comments on Twitter was criticized as being homophobic. And also, as we know, Kevin Hart did go through some, relationship issues with him and his wife and some rumors of alleged cheating and things of that nature. So Kevin Hart has really been tested over these last 3 to 5 years, sort of like his character, the kid, has in this Netflix series. So this film right here, I'm giving this a complete 5 stars out of 5, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. This series is absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend True Story on Netflix. You got to check it out. I will check y'all later. Thank you for watching once again. Peace, blessings, and one love.